All right. Hey, everybody. Hello, everyone. All systems are go. And so we're going to get started. Hey, everybody. It is me, Danielle J. Mitchell, your up and coming queen of real estate. And I'm here for today's and this week's Tuesday tip at 2. I'm excited because I'm always excited to talk about most things that I talk about, but this is a really, really cool subject to talk about. I'm trying to make sure I get kind of deeper into the process of buying a home and or selling a home. So yeah, let's talk about it. And I feel like as sellers, if you're going to sell your home, you should be able to understand the home buying process. So if things come up, right, when you go to sell your property and something comes up with the buyer in the process, right, you're better informed and equipped to be able to handle it, right? And have a better understanding. I'm talking about what the heck is underwriting. I think before and in other Tuesday Tips at 2, I have touched on it. I know in particular when I talked about the clear to close, CTC, getting the clear to close, I definitely talked about underwriting then. But this time around, I'm a specifically talk about underwriting. I'm gonna specifically talk about underwriting. Okay. So, what is underwriting? All right. So, underwriting is the process in which your lender verifies your income, your assets, debts, and property details in order to issue final approval on your loan application, right? I like to call underwriting and underwriters, more specifically, the gatekeepers. And I've said this before, I mentioned this before. I have my dangly. So if you hear a little, if you hear something, just know it's my the charms. Okay. um. So yeah. So I have referred to them as the gatekeepers because they are those that make or break deals. All right. And we're going to talk about how and why it is important to understand who they are, what they do. So you as a buyer, and again, even as a seller, understanding the expectations of the process. Okay. So underwriting happens behind the scenes. Okay. Most likely you'll the face of the whole operation is typically your lender. Okay. So a lot of times buyers are not going to know, about underwriting or the underwriting process because you're talking with your lender, right? And or you're talking to that lender's team, right? So you may initially talk to a lender and then they'll move you to their loan processor, and they have, just different roles in the lending company that they will do. But really, they're doing all this stuff. All of these people working on that team for your lending company are doing these things to help you in order to make sure that your file gets approved by underwriting. So they're bugging you for paperwork, this, that, and the third, because they want to make sure that your file is good to go. They're bugging you about the do's and don'ts during the time that you're under contract. So they're doing all these different things and bothering you because they want to make sure these gatekeepers approve your file and get you to closing and get you in your house. Okay. So what does a underwriter do? Pretty much when your future home undergoes an appraisal, a mortgage underwriter takes a look at your finances and assesses how much of a risk a lender will take on if they decide to give you a loan. The underwriter helps the mortgage lender decide whether or not you'll get approval on your loan and will work with you to make sure that you submit all paperwork. Now, generally, in my experience, the underwriter is not you they're faceless and nameless. Okay. They are faceless and nameless. So you again will be working with whoever it is on your lending team. Okay. Whether it's the first initial person that got you pre-approved or they, moved you over to the next person that will help get you to the middle of the process, and then they move you over to a final person, or you're working with that same person through and through, right? But typically, like I said, lenders will have a team. So you're working with them and maybe a couple other people along with them. But they're doing all this to make sure they are typically the go between between you and the underwriter. Okay. An underwriter can, this is what they do, investigate your credit history. Okay, they're looking at your credit scores, and they're pulling your credit reports. So they do a deeper dive, right? And typically, if you're with a decent lender and mortgage company, you're going to have your file reviewed by underwriter 3 times. Okay. First is when you get pre-approved, which again is different from being pre-qualified. Pre-approved means they've taken a deeper dive into your finances. You submitted some documentation, and based off of that, they can be a bit more secure and what they're going to lend you, how much, all that good stuff, right? And then the second step is getting that loan commitment or mortgage commitment. So you'll submit a bit more paperwork or maybe some updated paperwork. They do a bit more digging and verification to get you through that process. And then the last time is when you're ready to get your clear to close, right? So now you're packaging up all your file, submitting the final things for approval, dotting your I's, crossing your T's, all that good stuff, so you can get your clear to close and get to the closing table, all right, to get your house. Okay, so those are the 3 times you are going to encounter the underwriter during the process. All right, and these are the things that they're doing. They're checking your credit history, ordering the appraisal and making sure it comes back. Of course, the importance of an appraisal is to make sure the lender want to make sure that the house is worth what you're paying for it, right? Verify your income and your employment. They do that more than once, typically during the process. A lot of times they will do it again. They'll do it to get your loan commitment as well as before you're clear to close. So they want to double check, make sure you still have your job, right? They look at your DTI, your debt to income ratio, making sure that the percentage percentages are in alignment with your loan. So if you're getting a conventional loan, if you're getting an FHA loan, whatever kind of loan you're getting, they're making sure that those numbers are good. They're verifying your down payment. This is a huge important thing, and where a lot of people get tripped up. They have to be able to source your funds. So if all your money is coming from your job, of course, they verify your job and all that good stuff, no problem. But if you're getting other sources of income, they have to source it. Okay. So therefore, if you have money under your mattress and you want to throw that money in the mix, it becomes a problem because it is then called, an unsourced fund. They can't be able to track it. They have to be able to track your money. Okay. And we're going to talk more about that in 2.5 seconds. All right. So pretty much what makes up the underwriting progress again is income, getting your bank statements, W-2s, tax returns, all that good stuff, getting that appraisal done, making sure that that property is worth the amount that it is so you have a purchase price, and then the appraiser comes in and says, hey, this house is worth the purchase price. Okay. In layman's terms. Making sure your credit is good. There's no surprises, right? There, when you do a deeper dive sometimes into people's credit, a charge off, something that wasn't taken off the credit report may come up, right? So it's not just based on score, but it's based on anything else that's on there, such as judgments, all that good stuff. Your debt to income ratio and any assets. Okay, any assets. All right. So, how do you get through the underwriting process? All right. Here are some tips to get you through these stages of the underwriting process. Again, it's 3 of them: pre-approved, getting your mortgage commitment, which means you're halfway there, and then getting your clear to close. Okay. Number 1, you cannot apply for any new credit. Pretty much what I try to advise my clients to do is everything needs to be at a standstill. When you get pre-approved, especially when you are under contract, everything stops. Okay. Whatever you were doing to get pre approved, keep that same energy, if you will. Keep that same energy. Okay. Whatever you were doing. So don't go getting furniture, new car, and all that good stuff. Don't do any of that. Secure your house. Okay, so everything goes to a standstill. Okay, so don't get any new lines of credit. Don't get your furniture. Don't start shopping and Ashley Furniture. Here I come. $10,000, $15,000. Do not do it. Do not get a new car. Wait. After you close in your house and sign the papers, then go get your car. But no time before that. Okay. Um, be sure, tip number 2, that you respond to all inquiries. So when you're getting bombarded by your lender, if you're in a grant program and you're getting bombarded by your grant person, the same for them too. You want to respond to all the emails, whatever they need from you. You want to get it in as soon as possible because time is of the essence. Okay, you want to make sure that you're able to close on time. You want to make sure that the underwriter can do what they need to do and push your file through. Okay, um, be upfront and honest about your finances. If questions come up, answer them. Answer them truthfully, I should say, not just answer them, but answer them truthfully. Okay, be upfront and honest. Another tip is if you need to move any money around, if somebody wants to give you money because they're your parents, somebody is excited for you to get money, before you put anything in that bank account, again, that is out of the ordinary from what you regularly put in there, you have to talk to your lender. If you go to change jobs, you have to talk with your lender. If you just to double check and be sure, okay. If you're trying to, move money around, all that good stuff. If you're trying to take from one bank account and move it into the primary one, whatever you're trying to do during the time that you are under contract, please check with your lender first. Okay, that's all you got to do. If you're not sure of something, understand this: be at a standstill, don't do anything. And if there is something that you have to do that is out of the ordinary from what you're regularly doing, just double check with your lender first to be safe. Okay, or your realtor, which I'll tell you to check with your lender. I might have the answer, but I'll always say double check with your lender. Okay, the bottom line is underwriters, again, are the gatekeepers. They're the gatekeepers, and the thing about it is they want to make sure that everything, that they know where every dollar is coming from. You cannot have unsourced funds. If you're just starting a home buying process and say you have some money, or it's the holiday season, so people get tips, and you're planning to buy maybe in February or March, now is the time to throw that money in there. Throw it in the bank now. Because by the time you look for your house, get under contracts, you now have what's called seasoned funds, right? So now you have to, they only go back 2 or 3 months. Okay, so if you put that money in there, they won't even be able to see it. They won't even be able to see it. So at the onset of you wanting to get pre-approved, that's the time to put your cash in, not after you get under contract. That is not the time. Just hold that money somewhere until you get your house. Okay. I hope that was helpful. Again, being mindful of the underwriting process is something that not just buyers need to know, but also sellers, because underwriters pull snags in deals. Okay. A lot of times you'll see a property, it was for sale, all that good stuff. Then all of a sudden, financing fell through, right? Because the underwriters, the ones that shall not be named, got them, okay? Because there was a snag somewhere in there, right? They went to go verify, they went to go do what they do, and there was a snag somewhere in the process, okay? And sometimes it can be a minor snag. And there are times where you can save the deal, and there are other times where you just cannot, right? It's not just, oh, somebody lost their job, those kinds of things. But that's it. And that is all for today's Tuesday Tip or Two. I hope that was helpful to you. And I hope to see you next time. In the meantime, remember there's no place like home, no place like home buying. Oh, yes. And be sure to like, follow, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, comment. And if you're interested in buying or selling your home, go to book.djmrealtyco.com. And yeah, that is all. Bye bye.